We got a firm, so we got a firm video. Came out 8 months ago, but I ain't gonna lie, this one caught my attention because recently, well, not recently, but it caught my attention because after watching Prison Break, um, I I watched Prison Break like probably like 2 months ago maybe. I know I'm late on that shit, but I watched that shit and holy shit, that was one of my favorite shows I watched in a while. I ain't gonna lie. I even watched it probably like 2 weeks ago again, the whole thing again, and I could dare watch it again today if I wanted to, cause it's so good. But watching that shit, it just I don't know, it's just so cool. Like I mean, obviously, obviously escaping prison, not cool and shit, but it's just cool when someone smart as fuck can pull the impossible, you know? Just like the was that one prison? The damn, what's that one prison? I just the Alcatraz prison, like that one. I recently saw a video, just about that shit, and seeing that shit dead ass kind of like the same thing that like in Prison Break, like bro, that's just like so much in common, the way like how smart they did that shit, and like bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro, like that shit that just makes me, that shit just that makes me want to go try break out of prison, but obviously I'm not gonna do that shit, hell no. I know I'm smart enough to do. I mean, I'm I'm smart enough to not do that shit. I'm not dumb enough to do that shit, bro. But but yeah, that's why I'm about to watch this one because it says the world's craziest prison escape. And I was like clicking like this, seeing if it was the Alcatraz one, but it wasn't. It was actually a different one. So about to see what about to see if if this is the same type of escape that like Prison Break or the Alcatraz one, or how these guys escape. So like the video if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. Almost at 100 subscribers, so hey, hit that subscribe button. Um, shit, I forgot to hit that subscribe button. It's good.
July 1st, 2018, 9:20 a.m. A high-security prison south of Paris, one of the largest, most modern, and most secure detention centers in France. Hundreds of guards, massive
France.
17-foot
Happened
walls
in
lined with barbed
France.
wire, and armored doors. The courtyards are covered with anti-helicopter netting. On all four watchtowers, snipers with assault rifles stand at the ready. In solitary confinement
Okay,
cell
see,
207,
this shit already looks like hella secure. So how the fuck did they?
inmate number 00100189 waits to be escorted to a visiting room. He is the most heavily guarded prisoner in the country. He was involved in at least 30 robberies, some including hostages, one involving a cash and transit heist that led to the death of a police officer.
Mm.
Twice, he slipped away from the police right at the scene of the crime. And 5 years ago, in 2013, he pulled off a spectacular escape from another high-security prison, using a smuggled gun and explosives to blast his way out.
Damn.
Two guards unlock his cell to pat him down. They do find something suspicious, but it's just a pack of gum. The guards like him, despite his staggering record of high-stakes crimes. He's easygoing, funny, and likable. It's almost like he's perfectly comfortable here, behind bars.
Bro, that's that confidence if you have it for real.
20 miles away,
It's like they know
65-year-old flight instructor
that they gonna
Stefan
be out
Bai
soon.
welcomes two new students, Frédéric and Julien, father and son. They're both hyped for their flight. They say they just want to tag along and watch him fly, not pilot themselves, but they do request it to be on board the Alouette 2, a vintage collector's model from the 1950s. The pair have been marveling at it because it just looks so pretty. Something feels sketchy. Stefan will later recall that he thought they were wearing wigs. But hey, money is money, right? They pay 500 euros in cash up front. Back in jail, the prisoner is escorted to the visitors block for high-risk inmates. It's situated as far away from the prison entrance as possible. Prison management has been on edge for a while, noticing a change in the inmate's behavior. He's received more visits and seemed to be sending coded messages during phone calls. His casual vibe with the guards could be a tactic to extract useful intel. A couple of days ago, a drone was spotted scouting the facility from above. Stefan is waiting for his students on an open field. He has landed on the clearing because they said they needed to stop to pee. They stepped out and disappeared behind some trees. When they return, they're armed. They claim to know his family and his home address. They say they have been watching him for months, and that their accomplices are waiting at his house as they speak.
This is dead as like some prison break shit. Like like Michael Scofield's in prison doing all that shit, and he has his brother and other people get the shit for him, bro. Oh God.
Doesn't do exactly as they say, his family dies. They'll tell him where to fly next.
And then like how they have him as hostage, and then they say like if you do anything, we got your family too, and shit. For like what's it called? Just to like have like some shit like you better do what we say.
On the visitor side of booth number 50, the inmate's older brother is waiting to see his sibling. He has no idea that his little brother is about to pull off the most spectacular prison break in French history.
Yo, hold on, man. But this should just get me so interesting, cause like this is just crazy. People be pulling this shit off, cause like watching Prison Break made me realize that if you're super smart, like super smart, bro, that's a superpower, bro. Like that's a superpower right there, but being super smart, where even in prison you can escape that shit, or bro. Let's see how they pulled it off, or see if they pulled it off, and if they didn't get caught for a while or some shit. Craziest prisoner.
The prisoner calmly waiting for his helicopter ride is Redouane Faïd.
See, this is crazier than the Alcatraz one.
He's also a best-selling author, a movie buff and adrenaline junkie, and to many in France's immigrant suburbs, he's also a legend. A movie buff, and he's the country's most infamous criminal. His helicopter ride is Redouane Faïd. He's the country's most infamous criminal. He's also a best-selling author, a movie buff and adrenaline junkie, and to many in France's immigrant suburbs, he's also a legend. But to understand all this, we need to go back to the beginning. 1978, a suburb near Paris. This is 6-year-old Redouane. He's still in kindergarten, browsing through a newly opened store with his brother, who's 2 years older than him. There's not a single thing in this shop the two could afford. Their parents are Algerian immigrants. The father works in a factory. The mother cleans houses. At home, the boys shared a cramped 3-room apartment with 9 other siblings. The social housing block is surrounded by wealthy suburbs, full of wealthy French kids. Redouane and his brother do not fit the mold, and the store detective makes sure they know it. He calls them Petite Merguez, a racial slur for Algerian immigrants. But other than that, he doesn't really pay attention to them. Out in the parking lot, the brothers divide up their haul. It's Redouane's first theft ever. A couple of weeks later, he gets caught. His parents are furious, and his father whips him 20 times with a belt.
Damn.
His mother makes him promise he will never steal again. Around this time, Redouane discovers the world of film, especially French crime thrillers and American gangster movies. He watches them on repeat, memorizes entire scenes, and acts them out at home for his family. By his teens, stealing isn't just survival anymore. It's a way of life. He and his friends swipe TVs, stereos, VCRs, car radios, and computers. They use the money to buy Adidas sneakers and flashy tracksuits. But more than anything, they go to the movies. Again and again. Then, at 18 years old, Redouane commits his...
That's how I really get to, bro. Watching the movies, I ain't gonna lie. Like, every time I watch a movie, like a good-ass movie that had my attention, be making me feel like, oof, gotta move like them. But obviously I don't take that shit seriously, no. But it's just like, it for sure puts that shit in your head like, damn, like I want to do that, but you know, not dumb.
First bank robbery. He walks in armed, holds the bank employee at gunpoint, and threatens her with a line straight from the French crime film, Marine. Shut up. Do what I tell you. I've got nothing against you. I only want the money. Think of your children. After the robbery, he simply goes back to school and studies for his high school exams. There's no one to scold him anymore at home. His father has moved back to Algeria, and his mother is dying of leukemia.
Damn.
He'll later write in his autobiography that, from that moment on, he stopped caring. Redouane Faïd's crimes are getting bigger, and they seem to be directly inspired by American action films. During a heist, he and his crew end up taking a bank director and his family hostage. They are wearing rubber masks with the faces of famous politicians, just like Patrick Swayze in Point Break. Redouane even delivers a line from the movie when they leave the scene.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and please don't forget to vote!
In another hostage situation 2 years later, Faïd and his men show up in sharp black suits in homage to Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. They even adopt the thing with the color-coded aliases.
Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink.
But this time the job goes sideways and they have to flee from the cops, just like in the movie. However, all these spectacular crimes still don't seem enough for Faïd. One of his all-time favorite gangster films is Michael Mann's Heat, and after watching it over and over again, he sets himself a new goal: the holy grail of robbery, armored trucks. An industrial area on the outskirts of Paris, Faïd is behind the wheel of a Renault. He spots his target, a 6-ton armored truck with 3 armed guards inside, and slams his car straight into it. Within seconds, 2 more cars appear, blocking the truck from the front and back. 5 men in hockey masks jump out, AK-47s in hand, just like in the movie Heat. They surround the truck, moving fast. One of them slaps an explosive-looking package onto the windshield. The guards step out and surrender. Faïd and his crew start emptying the truck.
Bro, how the fuck?
But there's a problem.
How the fuck people be getting? I mean, I guess like black market and shit, but like, bro, I swear I be thinking it's hard as fuck to be getting explosive. But then I be seeing some people just be having that shit like easy like shit. Or some people just be having them shit like that, like if they just know where to get. But I feel like that's why the black market shit, bro.
Out and surrender. Faïd and his crew start emptying the truck, but there's a problem. It's simply too much cash. Moving the money out takes way too long. After just 3 minutes, police are on the scene. Gunfire erupts. Faïd takes a bullet to the shoulder. He does manage to escape with his crew, but he has lost blood on the crime scene. Now the police have his DNA and start to investigate his identity. And if they catch him, he's looking at 15 years behind bars.
Sheesh.
Stefan Bai and his 2 captors land for a second time. The hijackers have 2 more men waiting on the ground. They haul large black duffel bags into the helicopter. One of them climbs in, all dressed in black, hood pulled over his head. Stefan is held at gunpoint the entire time. Now he is ordered to take off again. He flips the ignition switches and presses the starter, but nothing happens. The kidnappers think he's trying to outsmart them and start freaking out. They beat and threaten him. If he doesn't do as they say, his family dies. Stefan manages to convince them that he really needs to step out to check the wiring. Finally, the engine roars back to life. They take off again. The hijackers are well prepared. The duffel bags are packed with tear gas, smoke grenades, masks, AK-47s, and an angle grinder.
Jeez.
And so the heli thunders towards the high-security prison, where Redouane Faïd is sitting calmly in visiting room 50, chatting away with his older brother. Hands down, this really is the kind of stuff you'd expect in a Hollywood blockbuster. But say you're in the US and can't stream this French crime thriller due to geo-restrictions. Enter CyberGhost anywhere secure by or shit 80 it's all risk burn place.
Crazy ad.
20 years earlier, the Movenpick Hotel in Basel. An employee enters a room to prepare it for the next guest. She has no idea she is not alone. Redouane Faïd has been hiding there for over 3 hours. Outside, the police are searching for him across the entire city. A few hours earlier, Faïd was arrested on a train heading from Germany to France.
Wait, what happened?
She is in Pick Hotel. Redouane Faïd. Try at cyberghostvpn.com/fern. Back to Redouane Faïd in prison. How did he land there in the first place?
Oh, it's just when they catch him. They
20
caught him.
years earlier, the Movenpick Hotel in Basel. An employee enters a room to prepare it for the next guest. She has no idea she is not alone. Redouane Faïd has been hiding there for over 3 hours. Outside, the police are searching for him across the entire city. A few hours earlier, Faïd was arrested on a train heading from Germany to France. German federal police took him into custody. He had been hiding abroad for months. But when the officers escort him off the train, he manages to break free. He runs straight across the tracks to shake the cops. A train roars in and blocks the officers from following.
Damn.
He jumps several meters down and twists his ankle, so now he's limping. Somehow he makes it to the back entrance of the Movenpick Hotel and sneaks inside. He finds several open doors, since the cleaning staff are still working.
Oh, okay.
He needs to get out of here somehow. He thinks about calling a contact in Strasbourg, but he doesn't have a phone. So what now? There's a payphone right outside the hotel, but he also doesn't have any coins. He calmly approaches the receptionist to ask if she can give him some change for a bill. She places the coins in front of him, which leads to another problem.
While he has cuffs.
His hands are still cuffed. What if she notices and calls the police? Faïd keeps it cool, acts like he's casually reading a promo poster behind the desk. The moment the receptionist turns away, he quickly scoops up the coins. The first call fails, and he disappears onto the hotel rooftop
Damn.
to hide for a couple of hours. He tries again, turns around, and finds himself surrounded by 20 police officers.
She saw.
The next day, Faïd is at the hospital
Or
with
they
2
just
officers to have his
caught him.
ankle checked. He seems to be in serious pain, but that's just an act. In a fraction of a second, he drops his crutches and snatches a gun from one of the officers.
Yo.
He trained in Krav
This
Maga
dude is crazy. He does not stop. I mean, shit. He's been doing all that crazy shit. I mean, he's crazy, yeah. He's crazy.
during his time in Israel, a super efficient military combat technique designed for fast defense and brutal disarmament. Before the second officer can react, Faïd drives his elbow into his face. The officer drops, and Faïd takes his gun too. Then he runs, as fast as he can, for the second time in 24 hours. You would think a guy like that would be watched extra closely in jail. At 11:18 a.m., this prison guard hears a strange noise. A low hum or buzzing sound coming from outside. To her, it sounds like a leaf blower. Weird, she thinks. The gardeners are not supposed to work on Sundays. Well, it's not a leaf blower. But the facility is prepared for this.
Yeah.
This sentinel receives an urgent order over the radio: unseal. The same thing happens on other watchtowers. Each one is equipped with a special case. The guard has to break the seal to open it. Inside is an HK G36 assault rifle. He grabs it and takes aim. The helicopter just keeps descending. The prison yards are covered with anti-helicopter netting. Flying in here would be a suicide mission.
So what the
But this
fuck?
is not a random helicopter. It's a 60-year-old vintage model, just small enough to slip through this unsecured gap in the last one of the prison yards.
Oh.
Also, this is not a
okay.
regular landing. In fact, they're not touching down at all. Redouane Faïd must have known somehow that prison guards are not allowed to shoot at a flying helicopter. There's a proper protocol for this.
What?
And maybe he also knew that Stéphane Baye is one of the few pilots in all of France who are skilled enough to pull this off. To keep this specific type of
Yo, see, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, when you're smart and you do your research and shit, bro. Like, he knew they won't shoot him. He knew to get the best pilot and shit. Yo. I know this is just like, I know this is all bad and shit, but bro, this is just like, wow, impressive, bro.
vintage heli steady enough while hovering above the ground. Investigators will later
How the
discover
fuck
that
is he gonna
Faïd
get
had been
out
writing letters to Stéphane's stepdaughter for 2 entire years. And this friendship was not Faïd's only connection to the outside world, because at this point, Redouane Faïd was already a star.
Oh yeah, he wrote books and shit, so he was already.
October 2010, 12 years after his escape in Basel, 8 years before his helicopter prison break, Redouane Faïd sits in a French talk show.
Gangster, braqueur, voyou, voleur, appelez ça comme vous voulez, il revendique à peu près tous ces mots-là. Bonjour Redouane Faïd.
Bonjour.
Les banques, vous en avez braqué
Ah, ça.
combien en tout?
Alors, officiellement, j'en ai braqué qu'une, puisque j'étais condamné que pour une banque. On m'a soupçonné d'en avoir braqué une trentaine, mais bon, ça, c'est que des dires et des racontards.
He's a welcome guest at the time, a bit of a sensation even. Redouane Faïd has written a book about his cinematic crimes. so now he's making the rounds on French TV to promote it.
C'est terrible de dire ça, mais le cinéma a été pour moi un mode d'emploi pour braquer.
Et on voyait ça un petit peu, l'attaque de fourgon blindé en ligne de mire. Pourquoi? Parce que quand tu attaques un fourgon blindé, c'est le top des tops.
The caption on screen reads, former gangster. Well, not so long ago, he was anything but. In late 1998, 3 months after his escape in Basel, Faïd was caught and sentenced to 18 years in jail for armed robbery. He was granted parole for good behavior after just under 9 years. Now he presents himself as a changed man, as someone who has learned his lesson.
La vie de bandit, c'est que de la vie de merde. Vous savez, vous faites souffrir tout le monde.
Then he went back to his
Quand vous
roots.
allez en prison, c'est une sanction carrément qui est collective parce que votre famille, votre femme, vos enfants, vos frères, vos sœurs, vos parents, tout le monde paye.
He got married. His brother has landed him an office job. He appears to be taking it easy now. At one point, he attends a film event where Michael Mann is physically present, the director of Heat, the very film that inspired his biggest heist.
Moi, personnellement, je suis un ancien gangster. Malheureusement, je ne m'en vante pas. Je viens de faire une dizaine d'années de prison. J'ai attaqué des fourgons blindés, des bijouteries, des banques, monsieur Toubiana, je pense. Et je leur ai répondu que non. J'avais un conseiller technique, un prof de fac, une sorte de mentor. Et il s'appelle Michael Mann. Alors, ma question, en fait, elle est simple. C'est est-ce qu'il a conscience qu'il y ait des gangsters qui puissent s'inspirer de son cinéma? Parce que moi, ça m'est arrivé.
Faïd addresses Mann directly. Michael Mann looks amused, but also a bit uncomfortable. He doesn't know what to say.
Thank you for that. I don't know how to respond.
In another talk show stint, Faïd is asked if he thinks he could ever relapse.
Ah non, moi mes démons, vous savez, ils sont morts, ils sont pas endormis.
That's a bold-faced lie, because at this point, he's already back to committing crimes. And not just petty theft, but a crime so shocking it will shake the entire country.
Wait, what?
May 20th, 2010, Créteil, a suburb southeast of downtown Paris. 2 officers are on routine patrol, Thierry M. and his partner Aurélie Fouquet. Fouquet is 26 years old. She became a mother just a year ago. For them, it's just another day on the job. But then they get a call from the National Police. They're told to head to the A4 highway exit. Some criminals are on the run in a white van. They pull up at an intersection with flashing lights and blaring sirens. They have no idea what they're about to get into. These men had a plan to rob an armored cash truck carrying 16 million euros. But 30 minutes ago, a routine traffic stop turned their heist into a high-speed, all-out chase with the police. Now they've crashed and need a new getaway car. But at that exact moment, the 2 patrol officers arrive. The gang doesn't hesitate to open fire. The windshield of the patrol car alone is pierced by 16 bullets. Fouquet is hit multiple times. The gunmen flee. Fouquet is rushed to the hospital, and by the end of the day, she is dead.
Jeez.
The murder of Aurélie Fouquet sends shockwaves throughout the entire country. At her funeral, thousands of police officers stand in mourning. Among them is French President Nicolas Sarkozy. He posthumously awards her a Medal of Honor and delivers a promise. He will do everything it takes to find out who did it.
Les meurtriers d'Aurélie Fouquet, je le dis devant son
Damn, she was famous or something?
seront
I mean, I know,
punis.
obviously, like, she was a cop, and like everybody, she was human too. But like, damn, I feel like not a lot of people. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that.
Avec la sévérité qu'exige l'ignominie de leur crime.
Redouane Faïd feels safe. So safe he keeps telling his gangster stories on camera. Here he is in a documentary. The film recounts how Fouquet was gunned down, and then Redouane Faïd appears, not as a suspect, not as a fugitive, but as an expert on this kind of heist. At the time, the filmmakers had no idea that the man sitting in front of them had a part in the killing of Aurélie Fouquet.
Jeez.
The failed attack on the armored cash truck has Faïd's signature all over it, but he has an airtight alibi, and he swears he was not involved. But investigators keep digging and eventually find compelling surveillance footage. A security camera has caught Faïd inside the white van used by the criminals. Faïd was not on the scene when the shots were fired, but police gather enough evidence to pin him down as the mastermind behind the operation. After 1 year on the run, Faïd is captured. Again, and he goes straight back to prison. Whether you're invited to a talk show or heading out on a date, there are moments when you want to look your best. But shaving is often a struggle. Many men experience razor burns and get nervous about
Is this
shaving right
another
ahead of
fucking
returning
ad?
parts for air.
Holy
The Brave
shit.
plane for safer shave. Fern at checkout.
That boy getting paid. 2 ads in one video.
2 inmates are taking out the trash, accompanied by a prison guard. Suddenly, they see a helicopter in the courtyard next to them. They wonder if it could be firefighters. The unarmed warden bolts into a nearby office, hiding behind bulletproof glass. Meanwhile, the 2 prisoners are about to witness Redouane Faïd's spectacular prison escape up close. One of the 3 men stays with Stefan, the pilot, and continues to press a gun to his head. The other 2 jump out. They are masked and wearing bulletproof vests beneath their clothes. Each of them carries an AK-47. They've just landed in the honored courtyard. Prisoners do not have access here. It's only used when inmates enter or leave the facility. That's why nobody thought anti-helicopter cables were needed here. The man in green
Damn.
runs towards a reinforced white door. He carries an angle grinder with a 14-inch
Yeah, see,
35
he just, yeah, see, he was like viewing everything, seeing around and shit. He's like, yep, this the spot.
centimeter blade. His partner sets off 3 smoke grenades, releasing thick white smoke. The helicopter's spinning blades churn it into a roaring chaos until the entire courtyard is engulfed, a complete whiteout. The sound of the cutting angle screeches through the entire prison. Faïd knows what that means. It's time. By now, it's clear to everyone that nobody here is blowing leaves. The blade of the grinder slices through the locking doors. Clean, precise. 40 seconds is all it takes. The man in green can just push the door open and step inside. The guards slowly realize what's happening, but they're not carrying firearms and are unable to interfere. One of them sticks to protocol and calls the Civil Aviation Authority. They don't understand what's happening. Another calls the standard line for police emergencies and gets put on hold. A third contacts the local police, but the officer on the other end thinks it's a prank. The sentinels on the 4 watchtowers are the only ones carrying firearms,
What?
but they can't see the helicopter because their view is blocked by other buildings. And they're not allowed to fire at a flying aircraft anyway. Total, utter chaos. By now, Faïd's brother knows exactly what's going on. He's furious. He thought his brother was ready to change. And now this, another escape. He just can't help himself. Faïd's accomplice has already cut his way through several locks. And now he has reached the door to visiting room 50, where Redouane Faïd is waiting. The angle grinder slices through the metal. The door is open. Faïd has been waiting for this. He storms out and rushes down a long corridor, followed by the man in green. His brother is left behind, frozen and stunned. At 11:28 a.m.,
Yo, could you
Redouane
imagine that shit? You thinking that, you're just gonna see your little brother and shit, cause he did all that crime. But he been in jail for years, so he's gonna be like, hopefully he changed, man. And then and then you think it's a regular day, just another regular day seeing him. And then that shit happens, yo, I would have been like, wow. I would have been like, wow, bro. Wow. I would have definitely been disappointed if I was his brother, though, cause bro, you just adding more time to your shit. You're just gonna be on the run for now for your life and shit.
Faïd steps into the prison courtyard. 10 minutes after the helicopter got there, he sees the 2 inmates that have taken out the trash, brings his right hand to his temple, and gives them an Air Force salute. Then he climbs into the helicopter. Dozens of inmates stand pressed against the bars of their cells to watch. As the helicopter lifts off, the
I
entire
wanna
prison
know if
erupts
he
into
actually
applause.
managed to escape
It's almost
for
like a
how
movie
long
scene.
and shit. Well, obviously he escaped, but like,
A French gangster who broke out of jail by hijacking a
A
helicopter
notorious
earlier.
gangster is on the run
Criminal
again.
who is a big movie fan. He has broken out of prison twice
And
now.
you can just about make out the helicopter flying off into the
Help of
distance.
multiple armed men who hijacked a helicopter,
which picked up Redouane Faïd from within the prison
yo,
grounds.
The news of Redouane Faïd's prison break spreads across the world. He was already famous, a TV figure, the center of a cult-like hype. But this is a whole new level. A well-known French actress writes on social media, "Bravo, Redouane Faïd. All of France is with you." The French police declare him the country's most wanted man.
he's got more clout and shit.
3 months
doing that
later, the
shit.
authorities track him down, hiding in an apartment in his hometown of Caen.
Only for 3 months he was out. I mean, only for 3 months he had freedom and shit. Damn. I mean, yeah, bro, you gonna escape prison, but you gotta be on the run for your whole life and shit. That's not even worth it. You should have just stayed there and did that time.
He's been disguising himself under a burqa during public outings. When he finally stands trial in 2020, authorities take extreme security measures, including a no-fly zone above the courthouse. The court cites a psychiatric assessment describing him as a social predator and gifted at manipulation. He uses his charm and intelligence to control others and get what he wants. Fayed himself says that for him, it was always about the adrenaline. He says he is addicted to it and calls himself a sick man. His Hollywood-style heists made headlines worldwide, but he also made his family suffer, traumatized hostages, and caused the death of a 26-year-old police officer. Fayed stood 2 separate trials, for his heists, his role in Henri Fouquet's death, and his 2 escapes from prison. He was sentenced to a total of 39 years in jail. His lawyer says he's been held in solitary confinement since 2019. He is strip searched up to 5 times a day at random intervals. At least 4 guards escort him to each and every one of his phone calls, and even then his hands have to remain in shackles. Fayed himself says he feels like he's been buried alive. His earliest possible release date is 2060. He would be 88 years old by then.
Damn. Hey, I thought it was gonna be kind of crazier, but I mean, obviously it's still crazy. I ain't gonna lie, you know, he fucking planned all this shit out. But it was kind of like a little simple, just helicopter going in, and then I mean, not simple, I mean, doing that shit. I mean, I guess that's still, that's still crazy, bringing the whole helicopter into a prison. But then, bro, I wonder if that's in every jail, in every prison where they can't shoot a helicopter. 'Cause that's kind of dumb. 'Cause like, why else would a helicopter go into a prison? But it's kind of obvious that someone's trying to escape. But they probably changed that shit for sure, maybe, or they just changed the shit. But damn. Yeah, this shit for sure was a little bit on some prison break shit. He had people go for the pilot, the best pilot. He like learned the place and knew that this place, he knew that one place that the helicopter can go down. Even had other people go for the pilot's family and shit. That boy crazy. Damn. And then all in the end just not be worth it. But that was a good video though, I ain't gonna lie.